Hello, good morning, good afternoon here in Brazil. So answering the questions that you have requested on the application. What's my favorite thing about being a teacher? Well, I really like to connect with students. This is something that I always try to do. So I aim at in having a broader impact in the lives of the students that I work with. Because I see myself as an educator, as someone who is willing to improve someone's lives in different ways other than only teaching some content, some grammar, some text lessons and stuff. So what I like the most about being a teacher is the possibility to connect with students and to have a role in their lives somehow. What is challenging about being a teacher? Well, I think the payment, at least in Brazil, is not that much. So this is why I look always opportunities outside Brazil. As you see in my CV, was working for a Chinese university. The job was remote because I was hired in 2020 during the pandemic, and so the job became remote. It was an inland job, but because of what happened, I started working remotely. And so they required me to go to China. I didn't want, so well, anyways, the payment is something that is something challenging for me as I see about being a teacher. What do you think is challenging about learning a new language? Well, I think learning a new language is pretty much learning a different way of thinking. So the way you think is pretty much the language has this characteristic of representing the mind, representing the thoughts, right? I mean, you yourself who is listening, do you think in colors or do you think in words? Is this a narrator on your mind when you speak? So this is all language. Even if you think in images, this is also language because you need language to represent the symbols that you have thought. So I think learning a new language is challenging because you also have to learn a different way of thinking. So it's this is challenging. This is really challenging. Can you tell us about a time you made a mistake with a student? I can remember one time that I didn't agree with it was in China. They required me to. I felt really bad about it, but I had to do. The university required me. I was giving too many good grades. Students studied a lot. They studied hard, so they had very good grades, and I was giving the same good grades for everyone. And my boss told that I was not allowed to do that. That I had to choose. For example, he gave me some numbers with the grades that I could give. So I could only 4 students could be in the top grade, could be A+. Only 6 students they should be B+, and so they artificially ranked students because this is something very important in China in general. How competitive you are, and this is also expressed in this context of teaching. What is your perspective on error correction in the classroom? Well, I think we should be very careful when correcting students because if you correct badly, if you correct in a wrong way, you may have a student who will be resistant to be back in speaking. So I think to be back to speaking with you again. So I think correcting errors is something that you should do very carefully and with a lot of attention to what you are doing. So what could you do if a student seems nervous or untalkative? Well, I generally try to talk about myself if a student is feeling bad. So come here. So one time, and then I generally bring up if what we're talking about is vocabulary of houses, for example. And I ask something to my student, and the student I ask how many bedrooms, how many rooms does their home has, and if they are afraid of talking, what I do is my home I have four rooms in my place, and then I try to talk about myself, and then after I talk a little bit and I feel that the ice was broken, I then I what about you? And then I ask, what about you? What could you do if it's okay? Is company culture important to you? Why or why not? Yes, of course. I think this is what guides us all along the process of working for a company. So I think this is very important. I think this is really something that we should watch very carefully so that we all work in harmony. And I do believe this is important. What do you want to know more about Craving English? I would like to have an interview so that we can have a conversation in person. But I guess I got the message from what I read on the website, and here I am applying for the position. Thank you very much.